Hold on tight for the next hour. You're entering into a place, a zone called the alternative to the alternative media. It's a place, a special place where even truth seekers fear to tread.
All right, people, let's move like we've got a purpose.
Affirmative.
Okay, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, if you're still alive, yes, welcome to the greatest show on earth. This is a show for every person, every race, color, and creed, including if you think you have the coronavirus. You can still listen. You know, if you do, you'll believe anything. So please listen to my show, says the Supreme Emperor Greg Anthony here. And you know why the investigative journal is the greatest show on earth? Because it's better than going out in your car to take a nice drive in the country and you get stopped by a cop and a doctor. And you go, what is going on? And you open the window, and they go, where are you going, sir? And I go, well, I'm going to stop off at the public bathroom. Don't use public bathrooms. Then the doctor says, roll down that window, and I'm going to take your temperature. I say, boy, what great health service we got. Something? I appreciate it, Doc. I didn't even want to look at you're not making house calls anymore, but now you're on the street protecting America. Yeah, Greg Anthony here. This is the greatest show on earth because it's better than talking to a lot of these stupid people out there. If you've listened to me over the years, you know that I love people, even though I've said some pretty bad things about the complacency of these Americans who just believe any darn thing. They don't realize that they're being controlled by their owners. And guess what? This show's the greatest show on earth because it's better than having to listen to one of these dumb you-know-whats answer me when I say something like, hey, did you know the Black Pope controls the world? And then the guy looks at me and says, hey, I didn't know the Pope was an African-American. Oh, boy, right to the moon, Alice. This is what I do this show for. You can talk and talk and talk. But like I said, radio's fantastic. It goes in one ear, out the other, and then you get off and you do your thing. But anyway, this show is better. Yes. It's better than listening to the Pope in St. Peter's Square. Somebody said, Greg, say it again. It's so funny. Yep, he's in St. Peter's Square doing an exorcism. He thinks the devil is causing this on humanity. But you know what he really said? But you know what happened right after that? He shut up because the devil looked him in the eye and said, hey, that's the pot calling the kettle black. Oh, my goodness. The pot calling the kettle black. That's a good one, isn't it? There's so many of these words that drive me absolutely crazy. And while I'm holed up here, oh, by the way, you are in store for a great show today. If you don't think it's the greatest show on earth, let me tell you something. Go listen to those idiots on TV, And most Americans get their news from two places. They get it from the toilet bowl, yes, because there's no toilet paper, and so that's all they're thinking about. And then they get it from these crazy news channels that are just telling you stuff that you can't believe. Truth, folks, is stranger than fiction because they have the possibilities of what they're telling you are like, you'll get hit by lightning before you'll die of this. You may get a cold and a cough, but that happens every year. They ran a hot mic the other day on purpose, by the way. And I got the inside story on the hot mic. And if you haven't heard about it, they do a White House BS session every day. I call it the BS session. And I heard from the inside source, where does this come from? Somebody asked me. I said, well, have you ever watched a reality Hollywood show? Well, this is a reality Georgetown show. And I am your head correspondent on Inside Georgetown, which means you get the inside stories of everything that's going on from all these great actors playing presidents, first ladies, playing doctors, playing all these things. And the nice thing about it is the casting in this was quite easy for president. All they had to do is look for a guy who had royal bloodlines, and Trump does. We went over this yesterday. This guy is related to like three kings in Iceland, and he's a Viking. He's related to a Viking king. And I told you that if you look into the genealogy of these presidents, most of them, a lot of them come from Charlemagne, and most of them have royal blood. So this has never ended. We are basically a crude version of God Save the King, God Save the Queen. We're no different. We just kind of like have learned how to really give you a great advertising campaign and tell Americans they're free, their vote counts, etc. I want to make a statement that I will never, and if they put me on the gallows, I'll go to my grave saying I did not have the COVID virus and I never voted in my life because of things like this. If you can vote for these yahoos up there, good for you, because you're just as responsible for putting, for this as they are for giving you this BS story every day. So that's what they do. And so I got the inside story from the place they organize. If you've ever been on a movie set, and I've been on many in my younger days, as I aspired to be a great film star. And look where it's got me. Look where it's got me. All right, in the second half hour, listen, I'm talking pretty good now, right? Remember yesterday? I was a little nervous. Got into that farmhouse. I escaped from the abductors of the COVID police. The same guys that are taking your temperature and stopping you, saying, if it's not essential, you can't go. Oh, what the heck is essential? Everything's essential. I'm going to buy a pair of shoes. No shoes. I'm going to get some underwear. No underwear. That's not essential. Well, what is essential? Essential is essentially what they tell you. Everything they do is essential, and everything we do is non-essential. Let's just put it that way. So anyway, I escaped my abductors who wanted to kill me for talking like this and for pushing the great Second American Revolution. Yes, folks, we must revolt. And I have to tell you, Slats Grobnik has put out 160 million emails to get an army together. I mean, this is better than the old days in England when, the warring families of the Lancasters and the, what's the other one? The Yorks and the Tudors. They were always trying to get armies together, paying these guys. Come on, get out the fields and fight. And then they'd fight, and then the king would change, or this is better. Slats is getting an army. Imagine if we got 100 million people in our army. What would we do? We'd first have to get them, we'd have to say, don't be afraid to go outside. You can disobey the orders of the emperor and his people over there, Every time I turn on that White House task force, which is very rare now, I see them dressed as if they were in 14th century England, with those big hats, everything, bowing. And by the way, I've got some advice for you. When this thing is over, there's no handshaking. Yeah, if you do, you'll be arrested. You'll be called a menace to society, spreading a very viral disease to your fellow man, and you'll be put away, locked away forever like me. I've been locked away for just talking. Imagine if I tried to shake somebody's hand. So basically in my spare time, like we all are right now, we're thinking, well, what kind of business can we start in this new COVID-19 world they tell us we're going to be waking up to when they say, Gregory, you can go out and play today. It's okay. The emperor said fine. Oh, boy, I got to keep laughing. I really do. Because if I don't keep laughing, I may just commit suicide. And I can't do that because I want to start. I've got a couple good ideas for businesses. Why don't we talk about that? Let's look at the brighter side of things. We're locked away at home. People can't play golf. There's no baseball. There's no nothing. The other day I was saying, boy, I'd love to go out to dinner, Well, I was locked in a hotel room because of these COVID virus police that are after me. They don't want the Second American Revolution, folks. They want to stop it right here and now. And you either believe what they say or you are going to end up like me. That's why I'm here. They're letting me do this. Yes. And then they say, oh, they'll never believe anybody. And that's really what's happening. There is so much confusion out there. I told you on my show the other day, There's no sense in even thinking about why this happened or who did it. Think about how we can stop it, how we can get rid of these people. Because I'm telling you, they did it in the old days. I remember when I was, yes, I was a noble, but I was a Polish noble back in the old days. I was a Polish noble, yes. I come from royal blood. Why can't I be president? Because you're Polish, yes, and you're half Jewish. That's not what they want. Okay, fine. I'll settle for this. But anyway, it's just insane what they're doing to us. Okay, like I said, they just are putting this confusion out there so that everybody is on one end of the stick or the other. It's either the most serious thing since the Black Plague, or it is basically a common cold. And it's either the Chinese, or this thing was started by the CIA, or it was started by, Oprah Winfrey. She's got so much money, she can do what she wants. So that's what's happening. So they want you to be distracted. This whole thing's a distraction so that they can push their one world order. There's going to be no freedoms, And the first people on the front lines are going to be the people that really want to get the truth out, because nobody will understand what the heck it is. So anyway, listen, I've got so much to do. Let me get my bearings here. It's really crazy because I've been traveling all over the place. I've been in Kansas in a hotel room. These guys hijacked me with a hood on. If you've followed my stories, the Slats Grobnik Second American Revolution. And it's been a whirlwind journey for the last week, but I escaped the other day, ran through town. I'm going to tell you all about it, how I did this. Amazing. In fact, believe it or not, I got contacted. I basically, a homeless guy told me how I can get a computer, so I grabbed the computer. He got one for me. He knows it. It's on the black market. Okay, I don't know. He said he wanted to join the Army, and I said I'd make him a sergeant. He said okay. So I got a computer, phone, everything. I got the phone from the drug dealer on the corner as I was running through Wichita. And I got a couple emails. And I got one from guess what? Luigi Franconi, the director of the COVID-19 scam, the reality show that they're pushing for here. And he said, boy, I really like what you're doing over there. Your ratings would be high if I can convince the Jesuits to allow this, to allow them to go and listen to what you're doing. And he put this really nicely. He said, if you stop talking about Jesuit infiltration in the churches in America and about all the genocides and the Vatican's role in the World War II and Stalin and Hitler's connections, then I might be able to negotiate with the Black Pope a nice little entertaining position for you that's paid quite well. So I said, something, let me talk to my agent. And I left it. Oh, Lord. So anyway, I found out what they were doing yesterday in the White House briefing. It's before they do that task force briefing. Let me tell you, they're all in the tunnel between Georgetown University and the White House, and they get their script for the day and a little bit of lecture from the director. He's a great film director, Luigi Franconi, and he's good friends with Scorsese and all the rest of them, and Spielberg. They let a Jew in every now and then. That's if he's a papal court Jew, if he vows the Jesuit oath of lie to the American people, you will get paid well and be one of the New World Order people, okay? So Franconi is building a name for himself, and I hear will be up for an Emmy this year, as well as Trump. Everybody knows he gets Best Actor of the Year. I mean, this guy came out of, he had a background, but this is the best performance of a president since the beginning of time, and I even wrote him a note saying that. There's been no president in the world that's done a better acting performance than you and could lie so well without being undetected, even by, lie detector machines. But anyway, they were very upset with a couple things. They're not happy with their crisis actors. So if you're looking for a job afterwards, They pay well. All you got to do is say you had the COVID virus, that you were dying, and you spent a year and a half in your home, and now you're ready to go out and basically listen to everybody tell you what to do. And they'll tell you where to eat, where to sleep, what to buy, etc. So if you're looking for a great job, that's available. Also, they were upset about this hot mic, if you ever heard about it, because they do, after they get their scripts and they go over their lines and they, get some new actors in for the day, some people they need to fill in the spots, figure out what kind of loops and fake photos and videos they're going to send all over the world so that people think it's a pandemic. And it's a good reality show. They basically got upset. There was a hot mic yesterday. This was before the Task Force BS session. And there were apparently two guys in there. Now, I think it was staged. Franconi, he's a sly cat. He made him think it wasn't, but I think it was. And they were saying things like they had masks on, and they're setting up, the podium, and they're waiting for the press conference people to come in. And they say, "Oh, take your mask off. We don't need it. We've all been vaccinated." And then they said, "Yeah, this is a hoax." Everybody, and then there were some words I couldn't understand. So I think what they're doing is they're putting this out there so that people realize that, they're going to have to be vaccinated, and this is good. But if it's true, why are they vaccinating them? They're not going to kill themselves, Do you think Bill Gates gets these vaccinations? I don't think so. They're filled with mercury and all these bad things. I wouldn't take a chance on it. Go to vaccinationliberation.org. You'll read about some really crazy things. And anyway, so there's a job. That's what they're talking about. Crisis actors again. Luigi Franconi's got a new twist to this whole thing. Little secret. They're thinking about planning a World War III. Yeah, because this is kind of... He says, listen, most people are catching on that this is a hoax. We need to blow the whole world up now, just for the fun of it. So watch out. Watch out for a real twist in this whole story. And that'll keep you at home. Ask the Israelis. Ask the Israelis when they go out. They hear bombs like a mile away. Okay, it's okay to go out. No, that one was too close. It got John the neighbor. But anyway, that'll be an interesting twist. But I've got some great things for you today. One, businesses. Now, I'm starting a French school of etiquette. Yes, that's going to be teaching everyone how to do 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th century bows. Yeah, and curtsies, and how to treat people from a distance. Because if you ever notice those people, they were basically either, bowing, they kissed hands, but they weren't like the Italians who are running up and hugging and everything like that. So that's going to change in the Latin countries. Latin America, you're in for a surprise. I doubt if they can control that, but we're going to try with the School of Etiquette. Send your kids. You're going to learn how to do a bow. How to bow to the emperor. Yeah, how to bow to just a lord of the manor or a duke. How to bow to your state representatives. A different bow than if you were bowing to the governor. And then, of course, once you go up the ladder, and the doctors are going, "What about us? What about the scientists?" Well, you know what? This whole thing is really okay. We'll put in a 14th century bow to the doctors. How's that? So anyway, we'll appease everybody. But that's gonna change the. I think it'd be nice, and I think we should then change the garments we wear. I'm tired of those girls running around and boys running with holes in their jeans. I'm tired of all the piercing of the ears. Why would someone want to pierce their body? And no tattoos anymore, guys. That's enough. I've seen enough people. Bald heads, that's gone. We're going to go to why don't we go back to merry old England and start wearing what they did during the reign of Edward IV. I like those clothes. If you ever watched... and Hollywood knows how to do it. And I'm sure they got a lot of extra clothes over there at Universal Studios that we can borrow. And then we can start a new line of clothing. Those hats. I love those hats. And then, of course, we'll get Donald a crown, and the Queen will get her a crown. But that marriage, I don't know. Is she from royalty? I don't know. We have to check that out. So, anyway, we can have really a great time. The School of Etiquette, teaching a whole new era of way to meet, way to keep a social distance, bow to your neighbor, and all different kinds of bows, like I said. There's a bow to people you hate, and I've got the best bow of them all. We got to save the best bow for the top guy in the world, the Pope, right? Well, right now it's easy. He's the black and the white Pope, if you get my drift. See, he turned off my microphone. Yeah, boy, they're smart. But anyway, yeah, I've got the best bow for the top guy. Yeah, people say, well, the Pope's not the top guy. Oh, really? Let me tell you something. I learned a little bit about their little satanic worshiping in the Vatican catacombs when I lived there. Not in the catacombs. But anyway, I got a bow for the Pope. You walk up to him, you stay 6 feet away, and you give him that bow with the right hand going down to your left thigh. Then as you're halfway down, you do a 180, and you let him see that beautiful butt of yours. That's my Pope bow for the day, yes. So anyway, that's why I'm here. Talking like this has gotten me into trouble. But if you come back in the second half hour, please do. And I know there's people out there going, my God, this can't be true. And I say to them, how do you know? If you don't think what I'm saying is real, me being abducted, and there's a coliseum in a Kansas cornfield, you just first go out to Iowa and look at that baseball field. Yeah, it was done. And then you start thinking again, yeah, it was real. He knew what he was talking about. Because I told you, the truth is stranger than fiction. Sometimes we don't even have to stick to the possibilities like they do every day. Yeah, they do it. They've been doing it for hundreds of years, and people have bought it right to their death. We are going to stop it. Yes. Slats Grobnik and the Second American Revolution are coming to your rescue. And I can tell you, there's people out there dying to be there. And we're going to get at least an army of 100 million. It will be better than King Edward's army that beat, who did he beat? Henry and Lord Warwick. We're going to have to rely on history, because history really tells us what to do in the future. And one little quote before in the second half hour, I tell you exactly where I'm at, how I'm surviving, how I'm still alive under these circumstances. And I've got to leave with a quote that I do every now and then because it's so apropos. Since we're talking about royalty, changing the garments into the old English style, which would be a good business. Oh, we got to remember Prince Philip. Now, who's Prince Philip? Many of the Americans who are peasants here in the hinterlands don't realize he's the Duke of Edinburgh, born in 1921, so it makes him like 170 years old. And he's married to the Queen, Queen Elizabeth, who's 240 years old. And he said this 20 years ago, and his dreams are coming true, and he's still alive to see it. He said, if I could be reincarnated, I would wish to return to Earth as a killer virus to lower the human population. Oh boy, he's living it up, isn't he? He's running around the Buckingham Palace with his underwear going, Queen, I didn't die yet, but listen, the virus is here. They're killing everybody. We're going to have 3 people left in England. Wouldn't it be a beautiful place to run? It'll be so easy to control these people when there's nobody here. And anyway, I'm told they're going to create half human, half robots anyway in the future. Well, listen, folks, I'm going to tell you exactly where I'm at. I'm safe on the Investigatore Giornale. Greg Anthony here, back in 3 minutes. What radio station is this? First Amendment Radio.com. .net.
The book of Revelation says, the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app for all of your mobile devices, streaming First Amendment Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone, absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today so you can listen to First Amendment Radio wherever you are. The Prophecy Reality News app. Get it now.
Visit crosstheborder.org, C-R-O-S-S, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn, the Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the scriptures and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a re-established Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, C-R-O-S-S, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
The following program is labeled dangerous and off limits by the supreme Jesuit command. But stand tall, people. Listen up, and you may just learn something.
Oh, dear Lord Jesus, this ain't happening, man. This can't be happening, man. This isn't happening.
Okay, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and I can hear the Greg Anthony here. We're back, and we got to get this thing rolling, right? And I got to tell you where I'm at. And I can hear people in the background going, "Martha, is he saying it's the greatest show on earth again? What the heck is wrong with him? He's terrible. Look, he's making up things every day." I know they're saying that. You know, that's what they say about Anthony Fauci. I know how he feels. I know how Trump feels. I know how they all feel. You know, they work hard. They get paid well. They're becoming stars. They're actors. They're the most important people in the world. Everybody's watching them, even in China. And they go, but nobody believes us. We read the internet and they start crying. You know, they get one bad review. You know, I'll tell you something. I grew up, you know, I did a lot of theater work, some cinema, things like that. I wanted to know how to do it. And people ask me, why'd you do it? And I said, well, you know what? I always had this fascination with being somebody else. I always hated myself. You know, have you ever had that syndrome, hate yourself? You know, I wake up and I hate myself. So I said, well, the best way to hate myself is change myself. So instead of doing the smart thing and changing my, self in the real world, I went to the fake world. And I said, today I will be I'll be a governor of the state of Mississippi in this movie called, Saving Private Ryan or something like that. So I was a lot of different people. I got over it. Now I love myself. Isn't that great? Because somebody once told me, you cannot love others until you love yourself. How can you love people that don't want to go outside and play with you? That's my recommendation to you today, before I get serious here. I know you want to go out. There's millions of people that say, hey, I just got a cold. I can go out. Well, here's what you do. You got to look for people. I tried it the other day before I got captured. and there's nobody to play with. So I went door to door. I knocked on the door. Hey, can Johnny come out and play? And they go, get off this land before I shoot you. He had a double-barrel shotgun out. We're protecting our family. And I went to like 20 houses, and no one came to play. So I said, I got to walk home. You ever walk home, with your head down? I walked in the door, and I said, Mommy, nobody to play with. I'm going crazy. I want to watch Dennis the Menace. So I turned on Dennis the Menace. There's a program. You can go to a channel on Roku and watch all those old sitcoms, like the Beverly Hillbillies, things like that. Watch 20 episodes on the first week of the COVID virus scam. But anyway, I got to get serious here before we run out of time, as they say. I was going to tell you about another business to start. Let me do that at the end. Maybe that will keep people around. But like I said, I've had a background in the cinema. I know what it is to stage programs and how to make people believe things that aren't true. And, there's still people believing that Star Trek is true, so why wouldn't you believe in Slats Grobnik? I told a person the other day, I said, if you don't believe me, you meet me over there in Kansas when I get there, because that's where I'm headed. Go to the Kansas cornfield, and you'll see the replica Coliseum built to put in gladiators like Trump and Obama to fight it to the death while we finally get some retribution here and have some entertainment like they did all these years with us peasants, as they call us, or as Henry Kissinger calls us, a useless eater. One thing, though, before, at the break, I sneezed 3 times. Wow. People just click off that internet, Martha. You're going to get the COVID virus. Greg Anthony sneezed. At the break, though, she says. Yeah, but it travels. It travels through the mic, into the wires, into the home, through the computer. It's a really dangerous virus. So then I thought, I remember I forgot to tell you. Immediately I thought somebody would say, God bless you, God bless you, God bless you 3 times. Can't say that anymore. You got to go, COVID virus, get him out of here. There's got to be a new way to say something after you sneeze. And so think of one. Send it to me at my email, gregbeacon@gmail.com. And we will do a show on the best thing to say after you sneeze in this new COVID virus world. I have a runny nose. My goodness. I am ill. I can't go out. One doctor, they're stopping people now, taking your temperature. Oh, God. The other day I played a joke on it. I put my head into a boiling vat of hot water so that I went out, and guess what? The doctor took my temperature. He said, it's 125. You should be dead. I said, well, you know something? Just say it's the COVID virus. He agreed. Wouldn't let me travel. Sent me right home and said, only if it's an emergency, it's essential. You're still walking. Go back home. Okay. Do you think this is just to keep you controlled? Yeah, it is. It's to keep you controlled. That's all this virus is. It's getting you ready for the new world. And don't you love these people who say, well, I live in America. I got rights, the Constitution. You have no rights. It's an illusion. The owners, like they always have, are locking down the plantation even more. And you're only going to go out when told. You have there's an invisible enemy out there. It's invisible chains. Yeah, the invisible chains are keeping you from going outside. That's how free we are in this country. But anyway, you think you got problems. I've been one, abducted from Mexico at gunpoint, a hood put over my head, kept in a hotel in Kansas for 6 days, and then finally escaped before they would kill me. I'm supposed to take a box with a message to Slats Grobnik over at his hideout. It's the headquarters now for the Second American Revolution. Give this message to him, and that will tell everything on what we can do, what us dissidents can do in this world now that we're being stalked. I had to get out of there. So let me tell you how I did it. Go to my website. if you don't like me reading you a bedtime story now, and get the story, the fifth part 5 of General Slats Grobnik's Second American Revolution. Okay, if you don't like me reading a bedtime story to you now, I'm going to explain exactly how I did it. How I got to where are you, Greg? Tell people. I am in a farmer's house. Well, not his house. He's got a guest house. I spent the night in his barn. Loved it. I used to sleep with horses when I went on the road with them. And I'll tell you what, nothing puts you to sleep faster. And I love listening to how they chew hay, how they eat their meals. I used to have dinner with them, give them their hot dinner meal and listen to my horses eat. It was very calming. So I spent a night thinking about how it used to be in America. And now, guess where I'm at? He gave me a guest house. He said, I'll take care of you. You rest for a few days and we'll get you to Slats Grobnik. He knows about it. He helped him build it. So I'm protected. There have been a few airplanes and drones going over. No, they're looking for me, as I've now defied the boss, the COVID boss, who gave me specific instructions and orders that I was to give to Slats Grobnik, as they want to stop this revolution before it gets going. So let me tell you how it went for me. I started the story by saying, dead men tell no tales. Dead men don't upset the apple cart. Dead men don't contradict the Jesuits. And dead men don't question the mainstream COVID virus story. And I said, it's either now or never, thinking the only way out was through the bathroom window. Gustavo, my trusty cartel bodyguard, was out like a light on the hotel sofa. He had too much tequila, and the two other thugs holding me against my will were 3 sheets to the wind in the room next door. Right after the COVID boss, I called him the decision maker, gave me my marching orders last night, I knew it was curtains. He sounded reasonable, a thinking man, but it didn't matter. His body language told me I was a dead man. Dead men tell no tales. Dead men don't upset the apple cart. Dead men don't contradict the Jesuits. No. And dead men don't question the mainstream COVID virus story, do they? No. Folks, that's really the lesson here, the lesson to be learned. You either shut up or it's over. You ever watch those old, this isn't in the story, you're getting extra here. You ever watch those old Edward G. Robinson movies and Jimmy Cagney movies? Oh, yeah, that's exactly what's going on here. Everything just the way the government tells you. So I said, dead man tell no tales. You don't contradict the Jesuits. And folks, I did that in spades. I did those things in spades. So the only thing left was to make a run for it while my drunken abductors were asleep at the wheel. Yeah, they're all out. I got them drunk on tequila. Okay? Had to think of something quick. So I figured I'd play to their instincts. They have to have tequila. So anyway, I looked at the lockbox on the nightstand. They gave it to me 6 days ago to give to General Slats Grobnik of the Second American Revolution. My destination, they told me, tomorrow I was going to be put in a car, taken there, was to go to this Coliseum, give Grobnik the box, wait for instructions, how to open it, and then, sayonara, Charlie. They didn't say that. But I knew it was a bomb in there, some fancy thing that they'd blow up as soon as I got there. Do they think I'm stupid? They think we're all stupid, though. Useless eaters and dumb as doornails. And maybe they're right. Why would 30 trillion people lock themselves away without a peep when our owners snap their fingers telling us we can't go outside and play because we might catch a cough and cold? Good question. But really, I don't have any time for answers. No. So I hopped out. Did I hop out? No, I hopped on the toilet, took a roll of toilet paper just in case, and flopped out of the bathroom window. Boy, did I run. I don't think I ran that fast since my college football days when I played tailback for WIU. I dodged 3 homeless people and 2 garbage cans in the alley, the football tucked in my arm, just like I scored that winning touchdown my junior year against Central Michigan. Damn, it was cold that day. But I'd give anything to be back there. And I kept running, dodging, hopping over beer and whiskey bottles, like O.J. Simpson. Those were the days, back in the day, playing football when America was free, rent was cheap, and jobs were a dime a dozen. I got to add something here, because it just flashed in my mind. I remember the first journalism job I got. I was a reporter on the Naples Daily News in Florida. Oh, yes, I never seen the ocean. I drove all the way from Chicago, 24 hours. Got there, and I said, "Ma, I'm in heaven." And I was in heaven, because back then I rented a 2-bedroom apartment. Listen to this, all you yuppies out there and all you millennials. This is the way America used to be. I rented a 2-bedroom apartment on a golf course a block away from the beach. I had a beautiful view, and guess what it cost me? $175 a month. And I made $175 a week. I listened to my dad. He said, when you get a job, make sure that your weekly salary equals your first month's rent, and you'll be fine, because you have money to eat. Now people are paying, 3 weeks? They're working 3 weeks to pay for their rent? It's crazy. It's not America anymore. I told you, we're like on an English manor back with King Edward IV. Okay. So here I am. In fact, I was running. Where was I? Okay, I was running. I better stop. I kept running, dodging, hopping over beer and whiskey bottles. Oh, boy, those were the days back playing football, right? Cheap jobs. And, boy, rent was cheap. Jobs were a dime a dozen, but not anymore, I thought, as I ran out of gas, winded. I must have run for what seemed like an hour. Wichita was like a dead zone. No one on the streets save the homeless, military armored vehicles, and a few drug dealers. In fact, there were hundreds of homeless sleeping in a cardboard makeshift tents, and some just lying in the gutters. I thought, if the homeless can go out, why can't we? They're all snoring. Doesn't appear to be sick. What's the big deal? Out of breath, I parked myself in an alleyway under a staircase to get my bearings. I had to get to Grobnik. While talking to myself, I just blurted out, "The Coliseum, where the hell is it?" And I heard, "Got a smoke?" And that voice, it came from behind the dumpster. I'm looking around. I'm filling in a few words here. And I heard that voice. "Did I hear you say the Coliseum?" I walked closer, and as he stretched out for a smoke, I gave him the bottle of tequila I took from the hotel room instead. "Coliseum, yeah, I'm looking for it." "Well, you came to the right place, buddy. I'll take you there, don't you worry." Well, I thought this guy was playing me for a fool, looking for an easy mark to get my wallet, and then scram. But when he said, "Hey, Gen Slats Grobnik," I changed my tune. And then he went on. He said, "I'm a member of the 2nd Revolutionary Army, 1st Brigade Infantry, and out getting recruits by night, just like Paul Revere. Got 30 homeless men ready to go. All they need is a meal. My name is Sergeant Maximilian Bonaparte. Like Napoleon, but with an F." "Hey, how'd you know Grobnik?" I asked. "How'd you know this guy?" "Well, everybody knows the loon, but he's not so loony anymore, is he? He built that Coliseum from the ground up. It's a big story around here. Most people think it's a soccer field, like the Field of Dreams. And I can't tell you how many times they wanted to put that loony in the loony bin. But now he's a damned hero. He's the general." And I looked at him, shocked. I said, "Maybe this thing is working. Can you take me to him? I swear I'm not the COVID Gestapo." I could see he was looking sideways and thinking maybe I was a spy, so I talk real fast. The name's Greg Anthony, Greg Anthony of the Investigative Journal, the greatest show on earth. I'm on every day on First Amendment Radio and CRN National Radio on Friday nights. "I never heard of you." "Wait 1 minute." He took out a cell phone and made a call. "Okay, you're good. One of my boys said he's getting a lot of good laughs from the Covert 19 commentary you're giving. I can take you to Grobnik. Let's go. We shared the bottle of tequila, making our way out of town. It was still dark as we headed down a dirt road between the cornfields. This is where I let you go, said Sergeant Max, adding, we would see each other again on the battlefield. You're joining the Army, right? They have a senior brigade. Don't fret, Mr. Anthony. Yes, I'm joining, of course. Thinking senior brigade, my butt. Just go to that first farmhouse on the left and give that farmer this medallion. He will know what to do with it. Max handed me a gold medallion. It said, Slats Second Revolution. Give this token to your local gun dealer and get a free double barrel with a couple boxes of buckshot. Holding the medallion tightly, I looked at the safe house, thinking one step closer to the Coliseum, or it was nothing. Could it be a trap? I didn't think of that. But you never know anymore in this world, do you? In this COVID world, who's who? Who's telling you the truth? Who isn't? Who's the spy? Who's the intel guy? Who is the, what do they call him? The coadjutor of the Jesuits. But too tired to care one way or the other after walking all that way and out of ideas. You know? I knocked on the farmhouse door. As the rooster crowed, that rooster crowing announced my arrival. Editor's note. I wrote an editor's note. You got to do that. That's official. You see, when you do that, it's an official story. Catch part 6 of the Gen Slats Grobnik's Second American Revolution as Greg looks for safe haven from the COVID Gestapo, out to kill him and destroy the replica Roman Colosseum, headquarters for the freedom fighters trying to rescue America from this invisible enemy, and the enemy within, bent on turning the world into a one-world hellhole. Catch all Greg's radio shows and stories at greganthonysjournal.wordpress.com. Wow. What a story, huh? And I'm really living it. Wow, what a story. Well, here I am. I'm in the farmer's guest house. I'm okay, but I had to recap everything for you because you never know when it's going to be our last day we can do this. They can shut the internet off. They can do anything. And basically, you know, Mr. Facebook and Mr. Googly, I call him Mr. Googly, they're censoring a lot of things now, I hear. They don't want to hear things. They're working together, of course, with the deep state, the Illuminati, the Jesuits, everybody. All these career criminals out there, Bill Gates, Soros, Kissinger, Fauci, names I haven't heard, like Adam Schiff, you know who he is. Oh boy, they allow these criminals to get away with anything they want. So America, the world's a little bit upside down, isn't it? But never fear. Coming to the rescue is my job. 007, always uncovering the Jesuit order. Never fear. Go onward. I'm sitting here waiting for my coffee. Can I go out to have breakfast today? Wow. Maybe I'll get a disguise. Maybe I'll work on that today. I got to stay a few days. They told me, you know, I've watched so many movies. I know, what is it? You got to stay till it cools down, till the heat is gone, till it blows over. What's blowing over? You know, the drones are out. They're probably looking. They know everything. But how come I can get away with this? Well, my farmer friend here has got what's called a IP address mixer, whatever that does. It's constantly changing your IP. I go, what's an IP? He goes, well, that's an internal pressure system. I go, okay. Isn't that the address on your computer? We all have IP addresses. You know, they asked me where I live the other day. I said, 167-513-246J3. They said, where's that? I said, that's somewhere in Miami. I got a VPN system. I sound pretty savvy, don't I? Well, anyway, this guy's got something better. It scrambles where you're at so they can't get a fix on you. So I'm safe. Because they fix your IP and then they go, oh, he's over at 1621 7th Street, right next to Wrigley Field. Speaking of Wrigley Field, You know, I'm a little upset. I didn't mention in my story that Slats Grobnik started this revolution because his slogan was, "Give me baseball or give me death." Still, it's almost the end of April. We should be a month into the season. The Cubs should be up by at least 4 games by now, and I got to sit here in this farmhouse twiddling my thumbs. This world is really getting on my nerves, and I'm looking for another place to go. You know, during the times back in the 80s, I left America because I was a stupid idiot who believed in, you know, the left and the rights. I hated Ronald Reagan. I said, if they're going to let a president in that lets the Pope become a official member of Washington and forget about Abraham Lincoln's assassination, I'm leaving the country, and I left. But I learned a lot. I spent 7 years in Italy, and man, I loved it. It was Italy, the great country. You know, you could actually shake hands, hug people, you know, go out, eat dinner. I spent my whole life eating and drinking wine there. It's all over. And then, you know, now I moved to Mexico, and I knew this was coming, but I didn't know when, who, what, when, where, and why. And Mexico's actually, it was a nicer place. And today I was looking on the news. You got to get this story. Come back tomorrow. I'm running out of time. But Americans are flooding over here, and the Mexican border, I guess, is still open. You can't get out of America if you're Mexican, but they're letting Americans in. Oh, my God, no. This is going to be another state. Well, don't worry. They're planning on Canada, America, and Mexico all to be one anyway. That's their plans, the North American future continent. But anyway, we have a lot to talk about. I'll be okay. Going to have breakfast. Probably have to have it delivered. But anyway, don't run into any doctors who want to give you take your temperature. Tell them you still have rights. Just say, hey, do you have a warrant? You know? All right, folks. Back tomorrow on the Investigatore Giornale.
The book of Revelation says, the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app for all of your mobile devices, streaming First Amendment Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone, absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today, so you can listen to First Amendment Radio wherever you are. The Prophecy.
Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host Melody Cedarstrom right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free 1-800-375-4188.